Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. This is episode, who knows? I
Maybe
think
11.
this is a very exciting episode that we have here. We have Luke Holmes, one of Great Britain's best up and coming junior athletes now. He is a Commonwealth Youth Games gold medalist, multiple European Junior Cup winner as well. He's a very good mate of mine, and he's the pride of Jersey, not Ollie Turner. It is now Luke Holmes. And also, recently just raced for Brownlee Racing at Jersey Super League. So probably our best guest that we have. Well, one of our best guests so far, our first international, and we're very excited to have him at the house in Ulverston, Tasmania, on the podcast.
Welcome, Luke. How are you, mate?
Well, thank you for that. That seemed like it was scripted, but it wasn't. It was just off the top of his head. So that was that really got the goosebumps going. But yeah, it's great. Down here in Tasmania for 3.5 weeks training in total. Not quite the weather I was promised, but it's all right. It's better than what it is back home. So I'll take that.
Probably feel right at home, wouldn't it? Being Jersey and
Yeah.
Tassie.
It's a bit like our summer, so I can't really complain. Out in shorts and t-shirt most days, so and there's not been much rain at all. So yeah,
Basically summer then.
Yeah.
Well, look, sorry, Luke. Jack, do you want to kick us off and
Yeah.
find out about Luke?
So I can do like a questionnaire type of thing, I guess. So I guess from when you started, what were the humble beginnings of young Luke Holmes on the broad shore of Jersey?
Well, I guess it starts. Well, I started triathlon sort of out the womb, just because my dad did triathlon in the 90s when he was growing up. So I think I started training at 4. I could ride a bike when I was 2, and I did my first race at 5. So I think I was 4 when I was sort of training a bit. So I've always been a triathlete. Come from a family of triathletes. So that's how it all started in the very early beginnings, I guess.
So how many hours a week were you training at 5 years old?
Not an hour. I don't even know. I was just doing swimming lessons. Riding my bike around the estate and running around football fields and stuff, which isn't really training, but it's kind of where the love of the sport started.
Did you do any other sports?
I did some other sports. I did a bit of football, a bit of soccer, a bit of cricket, but I stopped cricket when the balls got hard because I didn't like that. It was too scary. A bit of hockey.
Oh wow!
So I did a bit of everything, but triathlon was always really it. I remember my first triathlon. It was kind of before the days of what we call tri-stars now, where the set distances that each age group does. It was just like under 10 or over 10, and I was in the under 10 category, but I was like 5 racing 10-year-olds. And it was meant to be I think it was meant to be a 200-meter swim, but it was not. It was in the sea, and it took me, I think, like 15 minutes. It was something like 400 meters, which for
as a 5-year-old in the
I was doing an
English
Ironman.
Channel.
Yeah. So I remember that as one of my first races. The swim being like triple the distance it was meant to be. Ollie would have been racing then, so yeah, that's when he's about 8 years older than me. So when I was sort of growing up, first starting, he was sort of making his way through the junior ranks.
Yeah. And so was there, because in Australia we have I guess a pretty big focus on this school system triathlon scene. Like what kind of we talk about tri-stars and
so we don't have any school sport with any sports really. There's just not really a thing, especially triathlon. It's all done through sort of federations and local clubs. So we have tri-stars, which was a big community of, and sort of around my age group. It's a bit smaller now, but sort of the years around mine, I just got lucky that it was all really competitive. And then for that, you qualify for something called IRCs, which is interregional championships, which is kind of like national champs. It's like the Super Series, but it's one race, one day, and it starts Tri-Stars 2, sort of 10, 11.
Yeah.
So that's the sort of first proper taste of racing I did. I had to go over to the UK to qualify for that. I qualified for the Jersey team, and then you went and raced IRCs, which is, I mean, if you look at the results, there'll be names
Conway,
yeah.
Right. Shit.
So all of these guys would be racing that, when we were all 10 and 11, racing around Mallory, sort of. Their weird formats. They have aquathons, they have transition races, but I mean, at the time, that's the biggest. You think that's the be all and end all.
Yeah.
I think I was 26th. I only qualified once because one year it was COVID, one year I was injured, so I've only ever done that once, and I was 26th. But at the time, that felt like
everything.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it sounds very similar to, I guess, to the all schools, Jack, by the sounds of it.
Oh, and like I remembered, if you went to old schools, I remembered like I absolutely hated it. My first year I came ninth, and then second year was at Devonport, and I was like front pack out of the water, and then my wetsuit wouldn't come off, and then had to like run through the whole field, and was only good enough for 13th. And I don't know, it's just because school sport in Australia, there's such a massive culture around performing there, and if you don't perform, you're not good. And it was so funny because majority of the kids that all bet me at school sport have all either dropped out or I'm better than. So it's like you said, the be all and end all that you think of it, but majority of the time it really doesn't matter, and no one's ever looking at the national school old school sport Australia champion as the next hitter of Australian triathlon.
What I look at is, so there was probably 4 or 5, if not more, sort of people in my age group that were at my level at that age, and they've all stopped now for whatever reasons. I mean, a few of them have transitioned to swimming. I'm pretty successful, but apart from that, everyone else has kind of just dropped out through the teenage years. So I guess it's just you need to keep going.
Yeah, it's literally. I swear, in some of these scenarios, when you're definitely going through that like 15 to maybe like 20 age group bracket, it's literally just who can hold on the longest and who can love the sport the most. Because I feel like even now with some of the guys that we have in the Australian system, I feel like some of them might not even last into under 23s. So it's interesting to see like the next up and coming like guy that wins youth champs or wins school sport, and then 5 years later he's been a tradie or he's a lawyer or some
bus driver.
Yeah, something like that. It's like you just were thinking, oh, you would have thought he was the next Matt Hauser or something, and then he's your local guy selling you chocolates at the IGA or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of dropout as well over in GB with triathlon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have a pretty good setup, British Triathlon Tri. So they don't. I think it's a bit. The game's kind of gone, but they don't have a bike now in TS2 because, when you grow as a person, your power gets better. So they just sort of thought at that age we're just doing aquathons because it doesn't matter about the bike. So they're really just trying to bring you up slowly. The distances are super short. It's a swim and a run, and then as you get to sort of 13, then you start riding, and then we always race really short distances, I think, compared to a lot of people. I've been 16 when I did my first sprint. I've not done an Olympic, and none of our national races are Olympic distance. We're always just racing super sprint races, which I think is a good thing. It gets the speed going. It doesn't get you burnt out, and because some of these guys are running, say, an 18-minute 5K, and then they're progressing to the 10K, and it's like you're never going to have the speed.
I agree.
Even half the distance of people running for 10K. So I think in that sense, we've got it sorted out pretty well.
There's a massive focus, I think, like with the British as well as the Australians. Like I've noticed that the British, there's a massive swim and run focus, and you can see it in the results. Like most of the time, a British will be first out of the water, and all their guys are very quick off the bike. So I think it's something like Australia is trying to do. Yeah.
On this development camp I helped set up with Atkins a few weeks ago, he was given a spiel about how he coaches swim training, and his thing is he doesn't coach people to be able to swim 1500 really well. He coaches them to be able to swim 200 to 400 really well. Because he came from a swim coaching background, and when he saw how 1500 meter swimmers, what their training looks like, and then how you're supposed to fit in biking and running as well, because 1500 meters are swimming 70 plus K a week. So he's like, well, there's no way a triathlete can do that. So how do we
I think in short course, realistically, if I go to my swim club and I get any of the sprinters the 50 and 100 guys, they're getting to the first buoy first in clear water, and after that you're sorted. I mean, you know, they might get a bit tired, but you lose so much time around the buoys if you're even 3 or 4 seconds back. So I just like that's because my club I swim with is swimmers, and we do a lot of speed work. You know, 10-meter, 15-meter sprints with 200 recovery between, which seems, you know, quite specific training, but really, if you can get out fast, it doesn't really matter about the back end too much, because you'll play water and you're fit enough from. It's not like you don't do any aerobic work.
Training,
But you see people grinding out all the aerobic work, and they're swimming out to the first buoy at like 110 per 100, and it's like,
well, even at Tongyong on the weekend, you saw some of those turns. Like people were, I don't know, 5-6 athletes wide around those turns.
Yeah, so
easily swimming another 30 meters.
Their threshold might be, even if their threshold was 65, which obviously was ridiculous, but say they can do that. You know, the guys that are swimming to the first buoy have got so much speed, like Michael, who got to the first buoy first.
Marcus Day.
Gar. He was in the first buoy first, and he fell back a bit, but it didn't matter because he got around that cleanly, and he actually had a body length after the buoy, and then slowly just slipped back. So
I totally agree that that's what you see, and you got to tailor your training specific to that. So how is like?
You want to go?
No, you go, Jack. You go, Jack.
So what has since? So you've brought up into very humble beginnings as a triathlete. You've been going at it since you were, like you said, just come out of the womb. I guess what has been the last, 2 to 3 years looking like for you in terms of races and results? And was there any sort of race highlight that you went, geez, I could probably make an elite career out of this, and why?
Well, I guess so. Our serious racing starts when we're, I want to say 14 or 15. So that's 5 years ago now, it's going back a bit further, but that's when we start the Super Series, which is where it really starts. You know, if you win everything as a tri-star, no one actually cares. Like, you can't qualify for anything. There's no Europeans, there's no Worlds. So I guess, 2021, the first year I came to the Super Series, it was straight out of COVID. I'd been grinding the bike out. I've been doing like 400k weeks on Zwift. not much swimming, not much running. So I got to my first race, and I was a decent swimmer. I swam 4:44 for 400. But that put me, way back in a field like that. So that was kind of the story of my first year. I just make the second pack, drag them up on the bike, and then run like, I don't want to say any names. Who's a bad runner?
What from that's British?
Run like Jack Latham.
Zing.
So then that was almost the story of the first 2 years, really, of my Super Series career. So 2021, 2022.
So it's a bit like the Toby Powers of GB triathlon.
Yeah, no.
Like I'd be out transitioning,
dragging people up on the bike.
Dragging people up, and then having
And I'd made the lead pack. I think the first time in 2022. It was, I still remember, it was me, it was Derry, it was Ollie Conway coming out of T2, and I'm like, oh, I'm here now. I'm with the big boys, and then I just get dropped. So I led out of T2 quite often, and then 2023, for Youth Commonwealth, I put a real focus on that. I sort of realised that my bike was so strong that it didn't really matter. It got to the point where that wasn't a limiting factor. So I just really focused on the run over that winter. Which
what did that look like for you, focusing on the run? What changes did you do?
Well, so that year I didn't have a run coach before Youth Commonwealth. It looked a bit different to now, so I'll go over what I was doing then. It was a bit more sort of threshold work. I was trying to just increase my volume. It was pretty basic. I had a lot of, I'd sort of exponential growth at that point, because I'd never been properly injured, but I'd been growing sort of 14, 15, 16. So this is when I'd sort of plateaued, which makes it easier to run, because some of these injuries I just couldn't get rid of because I was putting an inch on every 3 months. So my body was just adapting. So it was just a bit of consistency, getting it wasn't anything crazy, 4 runs in a week, maybe 40k a week. But that was just my first winter where I was actually consistent, able to train through. And then that led me on to my first proper Super Series results for 2023. I made my first GB team. I won I won my first international. No, my first international race was Europeans, which I guess I can go through that.
Yeah, if you want.
What's that like? Euro Youth Champs? Is that
So
what it
that's
is?
Euro Youth, yeah. So again, at the time, it feels like the world, but now as a junior, I look at Euro Youth and I'm like, yeah, you're all little kids, and it's kind of cute what you're doing, but yeah. So
I was in Banyuls a couple of years ago, and they had youth champs there, and I noticed the Germans didn't even send anyone.
yeah, Germans don't do youths; they only do junior. So what year was that you were there?
23.
Yeah, that's where I was there. Yeah.
Oh, you were there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's heats and finals. So I managed to make the A final, which was a success. But in that, just had nothing. It was a big lead pack. It was only 30 guys make the A final, and that was 26. So I was basically just one of the last guys in the A final, which was quite disappointing. But at the same time, it was a great experience. Tristan Douche, who just won Worlds, won that race.
Yep.
Loads of names, I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, like, oh no.
No,
I don't think he
I
was.
think Achille Besson was second.
Carol Pulper would have
Carol
raced it as
Pulper.
well.
Oh, Pol Pot. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good European.
The king of Pontivy.
Yeah, that's it.
So just like loads of guys that are still around now. And that was my first real taste of it. And that was hard because we do a lot of heats and finals racing. But that was, in the GB circuit, for someone like me, it's relatively easy to get into the A final. And then that's where the real business starts. Whereas in that race, there's no messing around in the heats. That's flat out. So that's, I think, what I found really challenging was
backing up from the
backing it up rather than sort of jogging the Saturday in a GB race, coming back on Sunday, and knowing I'm fresh.
Yeah. You go.
So then after that, it was the Youth Commonwealth. So I had a decent bit of training going into that after Europeans. And that was a great trip. So I come from Jersey, which is a small island, 100,000 people, and we sent a team of, I'm going to say eight.
Oh, yeah.
But I think all of us except one were at the same school. All of us except one were at the same swim club. It was all like, we were just all mates on a trip. Like, I know everyone says that about games like this, but we were literally all from the same swim club. Mine's the one guy from athletics, and he went to our school. So we were all. It was a great trip, because the coaches we got on really well with, because we see them every day. So that was a great trip, all in all. And then the race there, that was my first taste of international success. I got a gold in the individual. And we got bronze as well in the mixed team relay.
Yeah, nice. So that was the Trinidad Tobago.
Yeah, that's where Jack got third, and we both got a gold and a bronze actually.
Yeah, we swapped medals in the relay.
Yeah, nice. So in all of that, like, do you guys, with your coaching setups and the federation, like you said, you made your first GB team, was that the Com Games team, or was that the Jersey? That
was Banyuls.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So after that year, I got moved on to it was called England Next Generation. I think they've revamped it this year to Olympic Pathway. It was just the sort of the Olympic Pathway squad.
Some kind of talent.
Yeah. So I was on that for 2 years, and that's when I got given a coach through British Triathlon. We went on training camps. We went on some pretty cool camps. We went to Portugal somewhere.
Lisbon? No, I don't know. Quintero.
Montegordo.
I forget. But we went to Portugal somewhere, and it was a place where they often go on camps, because there was pictures of every group who's ever been, and there was one group from 10 years ago, and it was Alex, it was Sam Dickinson, it was all of those guys sort of came before us that were on the program.
Yeah.
So that was cool. We went on, and then every other camp we went on was just sort of within the UK, based at a centre, based at different unis.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great program, and we got coaching through that as well.
This sounds like it was only what, a year or two ago?
Yeah, so this started in 2023. Yeah, so I was on it for 2 seasons.
Oh yeah.
It's sort of until you leave school.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the thing.
Yeah. So that's kind of like so you were still at high school or whatever you call it in the UK.
Yeah, so still at school, I got a coach through British Triathlon that was just online, Training Peak, stuff like that. And then we'd go over 2 or 3 times a year to the UK, all meet up. It was a group of, the first year it was 20 of us. It was a bit smaller the next year. It was like maybe 15. But yeah, pretty small group of athletes. And pretty focused.
Yeah. Did you have any questions, Jack?
I guess, I mean, what did it feel like? So, like you said, when you won youth games and you had your first like proper taste of international racing, what was it, those 2 results and just the fact that you were able to go and experience those 2 races, you were able to then think, oh, I could actually have a chance of making this a career?
I mean, not really after Com Games, because you're racing against youths. But after that, so I took a break, like, just chilled in Tobago, went to the beach, did whatever, came back, and then won my last 2 races of the year. I was racing with seniors, and I was up there. I was up there with the juniors. I think I was second junior at both races, as a youth, and I was up there with the seniors. I was beating some pretty big seniors, and that was where it sort of started to click. Like, everything just felt like it was coming so easy at that point. I just done Com Games, just tossed about for a week, came back, did a big week training, and then just won my last 2 races and won the Super Series overall that year as well.
Yeah, right.
So that was where it started to click. Whereas it wasn't easy, obviously. I'm making it sound easier than it was, but that's where I sort of started to feel like everything was just going my way. At the end of that year, I just built off the momentum.
And so when you're getting allocated a coach by the federation, like at that point, do you guys do a like performance plans, like official documents and meetings with federation staff to say, right, Luke, we're taking you under our wing now. This is what we expect of you over the next, we need this result, we need this.
Not too much. So it's never been too performance, as in you have to hit certain things. It's been fairly relaxed. It's just a coach who's employed by the federation, but their interests aren't necessarily exactly the same. The coach wants the best from you, best for you, sorry.
Yeah.
In my experience, the best for you, rather than pushing the federation's, gender, which is a really good thing. But I can't speak for all coaches, but I think in general, that's sort of it. It's not as much of a direct food chain going up, managers. To me, it felt like I had a coach who normally you'd pay to coach you. And they do, these coaches do also have private coaching, and that's basically what you're getting. And you have the additional benefit of they can speak to the federation about anything if you need to, about selections. They, hear stuff about races and stuff.
So that kind of brings you to the end of your youth, start of your junior career, I guess. Are you under 23 eligible still? Sorry, under junior eligible?
No, so this was my last year junior.
This was it, yeah. Right. So
the junior career, so I first made my step up to, my first race as a junior was in Corsiera in the European Cup there, which is quite a big one, the junior one. And I had a really good race there. I was 7th or 8th, which I was really happy with. That was my only junior cup last year. And I also qualified for Euros, which went much the same as the year before. Really strong heats, and then just struggled in the finals. That was a tough race. That was out in Turkey, in Balıkesir, which was like 32, 33 degrees. Just crazy hot. And then again, I had to spend myself to get through to the finals. I had a really good swim. It was Kropko and Seri and then it was me.
Oh, all right.
And so I'm out with them, and I'm like, oh, I'm in here, and then there's a little hill to transition, and genuinely they probably put 5 seconds into me on that run up to transition, and I'm like, oh,
All right.
that's that gone. So then those boys ended up having a breakaway without me. So
straight away, like compared to Australia, that's such
an elite environment to be around.
But
like,
no one's racing like that in Australia at that age.
No.
Like to be around that kind of cohort and then get your ass handed to you in the first 5 meters or whatever it is of the transition.
Yeah.
You don't really get that in Australia. Like, you know,
you have to go for it.
Yeah, young athletes over here like Jack and that have got to fork out thousands of dollars to get over to Europe to then get to know what that's like.
And I got that transition experience at Albi this year, getting torched by all the Frenchies running up in front.
And it is pushed by the federation quite a lot. I know by the French and by the British federations, they're constantly looking at transition splits, and they're talking about them. We do a lot of transition sessions. You know, when we go on these national centre camps, we'll just go on a hockey pitch or a football pitch and just jump on our bikes for an hour and jump off, dismount, and put our helmets on and stuff. Which is something that's quite big. Even at the big centres, they'll do that. They'll, within their bike sessions, say they're doing 4 by 10 minutes, everyone will start with running to your bike, putting your helmet on,
and then
getting and mounting.
Yeah.
So it just sort of builds that up.
Yeah.
And you do also have to make a conscious effort. I remember it was the same at Euro Youth. The speeds Tristan Douche ran through transition. I just remember he came out just behind me, and I just couldn't follow him. It was a relatively long transition as well.
And he's historically known for doing, I can't swear, for just doing nothing stuff on the bike. And then,
from the Lisa Tersh playbook.
Yeah, he plays a good game for sure. He knows how to play it smart.
Yeah, that's it. So you're about to, or you are entering the big bad world of the junior to under 23 elite transition. How's that sort of starting out for you now?
Yeah, well, my last year junior was a mixed bag. I missed out on both the selections for GB teams by a place or two, which was kind of hard.
So this would have taken you to Wollongong and last year's?
At Wollongong, and it was Melilla. The Euros trial, I just finished exams. It'd been a hard week with all sorts going on, and I just didn't have the race I wanted. It wasn't like I was massively off, but to make a team like that, you've got to be
right on it.
You've got to be right on it. The top 2 guys I never could have beaten on that day, so I was just gunning for that 3rd spot, and I was a place off. But that's just racing. And then Worlds trial, it was just a roll around, so it was basically rained out on the bike, neutralized, so wet, and it was just a running race. And I went off with Alex and Brandon. We went Robin and Brandon Pye. We ran, it was 2:55, 2:54 for the first 2K. It was pretty quick stuff. And we had a gap. We had about 5 seconds. So I thought, I've got this. We went through halfway. This is with a watch. Halfway at 7:20. So on pace for sort of 14:45K. And then off that pace, Alex Robin proceeded to kick on a bit.
Drop the hammer.
Yeah, we were taking it a bit leisurely. And after that, I sort of lost my rhythm because he got away from Brandon, and then I sort of dropped back from Brandon, so we were just sort of running by ourselves. And then, I mean, I say I was dying. My 4th K was 3:10, which isn't, it's not bad. But at that level, you're getting caught.
Those guys,
so I just got caught by one guy, and that just took the place away, which was kind of hard to
digest
process because I was really happy with how I ran. Like, if you told me I was going to run 15:15 for 5K off the bike, I would have taken that any day of the week and been like, I'll make the team.
That is the exact time Jack Coldwell ran at Devonport to win to go to Worlds for Oceania. That doesn't even get you a world spot in Great Britain. I don't think I need to say anything more.
I was going to say, Jack won't like me here saying this, but if you just change nationalities, you'll be
Yeah.
Probably the best up and coming under 23 junior in Australia.
Yeah,
what I mean.
but it's good. It's good in every way, really, because it pushes you to be better, and that's
Yeah,
why
of course.
GB get all these Olympic medals. Because I could just turn up to an Africa champs and
Take that.
be the champ, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. It's not the big picture.
When we come to Worlds, we got a gold in the relay. Alex got a silver. Ollie got a gold in the individual.
Just shows the amount of depth. And the place that they race is called Mallory
race circuit.
Yeah, so it's a race
like a
circuit.
circuit,
They have all their races there every year. Everyone complains about it. But the thing is, when I've looked at all the splits over the years, it is so bloody quick.
Yeah.
Everything is quick there. Like, I think I read the top 5 when Alex Robbins sent it to me. He ran like 14:40 something. And then I think the top 6, don't want to say it again, but the top 6 or 7 all ran. They all ran, I think, like you said, 15, 20 or lower. Like, it's just insane.
Do you know a bloke, Sam Hart, at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
in your kind of age range, or what's he?
He's quite a bit older. I know he finished 1 place behind me in Eton. He's a strong runner.
Yeah.
He
won Division 3 Grand Prix.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, he ran like 14.
I think
he's or something.
Yeah, he's gone under 14 for a 5K at the Nottingham circuit. They've got a fast 5K there. I think he's gone 13:50ish. So
remember the bloke I told you about from Albi when I was talking to the other British athletes, and he's like, "Oh, I train with Alexi out at Loughborough. I run 13:52 for 5K."
Yeah,
that turns out I know him. He's Dan Van Aert. You love him. You love him to bits, don't you? They're both training now at Loughborough together, and like I said, he runs 13:52 for 5K on the track, whatever.
Yeah.
Still, that is a quality time for any for triathlon or running, and he can't even make a world's team. Like, that just shows the depth.
Like, I'd like more juniors, youth over here to kind of hear this sort of stuff, and that's why one of the reasons
we made this podcast so adults can get humbled and just show why the Europeans are so bloody good.
And it's not necessary to say, "Oh, you're shit, you can't run this fast,"
it's
or that sort of stuff.
Standard we need to go to be good.
It's more just to go, "Hey, you can be a lot better."
We've got a clause within our world selection, which everyone sort of just gets because they're mostly good enough, but it's 15 on the 5K and it's 4:20 on the 400 free.
Yeah, that's your like criteria you got to hit.
That's the criteria. I don't think they ever really select off it. They don't, but it's just sort of in there. It's almost a reason to not select someone if something weird happens.
Yeah.
But that's like another thing. Yeah, and if you're not running under 14:20, you're not really that special. In the, you've got guys running 13:48 is what Ollie ran. Dan ran 13:52. Brandon's ran, I think
he'd be close to
14:05 or something in Armagh, and that was really early season. That was in February.
Yeah, these are just straight out 5Ks.
Yeah. So the depth is there, and these guys, Dan less so completes it in a triathlon has yet, but someone like Ollie he's not only got that speed, he's got that pace off the bike,
and he's a proper good swimmer. He knows how to swim now. I remember Alex and Luke showing me videos and photos from youth and stuff, and it would be Conway out the back, second pack swim, and I was just looking like this guy was so tiny and skinny back then, and now he's just this massive gorilla Goliath, and he's just running 2:30 just easy. Yeah. And you look at his Strava, and he's doing warm up runs at 3:40 pace. It just shows time and depth and just how good
levels just going up and up.
But these guys I've raced against countless times. I remember I was in that 2023 race. I was miles ahead of all the youths, and I was going to win the junior race, which would have been pretty cool because I was 3 years down at that point. And then Ollie came past me in the last 100. Dan Van Aert, the one who's also around the 14, out sprinted me in Katura. I have so many experiences against all these guys. And then it's cool when you see them succeeding on the international stage, like Alex did, like Ollie did. It's kind of what.
It's good to see. It's good to see just competition.
If you
Well, you can really get a picture of where you're sitting in the, more
Exactly.
or less
World,
world level of things.
If you don't make a world's team and then your team shits the bed, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, who am I? But
Should
if
I
you
have been there anyway?
but
Yeah.
if you don't make a world's team and Alex comes second, it's like, okay,
Well, there
even
you go.
there you go. It's like that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
like even I remember when we were in the Czech Republic together and we were just like reminiscing about how we both missed worlds and what our reasons were and stuff. And I remember Luke told me like after he's like, oh yeah, it was shit and all, but then like next weekend I went and ran like 3:56 for 1,500 meters, so I didn't really care after that, which I thought was
Well,
pretty
yeah.
funny.
After I missed the Europeans, I ran 3:51 like 3 days after for 1,500.
yeah.
I just don't really care.
So I did not care, but I was like, oh, it's like it's whatever. Like
Consolation prize.
it's not that I'm not fit. It's just
Mm.
it didn't work out on that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Is there anything else about like your juniors and that sort of stuff before we talk about your super try?
I guess the 2 European Cups I did three I did this year.
2 of them you won.
Yeah, I was ill for the first one, so
Right.
kind of just
Which one?
glazed over that. That was Katira.
Oh yeah.
It was mental. I was already pretty ill, and it was mental in the swim. It was choppy as anything, and I just got out feeling so seasick. I mean, it sounds stupid, but like I genuinely had. I think I sat down in transition because I was so dizzy, taking off my wetsuit. So that one was a bit of a write-off. But I didn't DNF. I'm not about that.
Not
and
about
then
that life.
I came to Tabor.
Where we finally reunited.
Yeah, we finally reunited. I was listening to the podcast and he told the story about
Almost
we
didn't.
almost missed the train. The ticket guy, that's a good one. Yeah. This is a tip. If you're in a foreign country and you genuinely don't speak their language,
And if it's Slavic,
like
there is no chance anyone speaking
you can get away with not paying. I mean, in France, they can probably communicate with you and make you pay. But this guy didn't speak a word of English, and we didn't speak a word of Czech, so we just couldn't pay. I mean, we could just get away with it.
We don't understand.
Yeah.
We need your ticket.
So that was I told. Oh, do I say this? I told my whole family I was going to win.
Yeah.
This
was after World.
This was after the European selection. I was a bit. I told my whole family I was going to win. I put it on Strava. I was going to win. So
yeah, I was
You
when I
won.
was in Sterling.
brought home the-
Like the few days before I left, and Tristan Robbins like, oh look at this knobhead. Look what he's already put on Strava, and it was like a run session. He put like in the description, W, I'm winning Tabor. Get ready. He's like, you got to fucking beat him now, Jack. You can't let this prick just go away and get it. And then
so that was a good race.
Really good one.
Sort of, I was third at the swim, but then it was a run. I did I stepped my game up from the years before. I had the fastest T1 by like 3 or 4 seconds.
It was a long.
It was a long T1, and I just was running like flat out through that.
Yeah.
Got a gap on the bike with one other guy, Jelle Kindle from Austria.
Tipper Kindel's younger brother.
I swear there's like 1,000 Kindles run around.
But he's the brother of the Austrian that just breaks away with Henry Graf every race. He is a weapon.
Him and Henry broke away in Karol Lavari.
Yeah, something like that.
So so he's a pretty good rider.
Yeah.
So we rode together. We didn't really say much to each other. We just kind of knew the drill.
Yeah.
And then I just got onto the run first and just didn't really look back. I was sort of the first lap. You're thinking, will this guy come past me? Am I faster than him? And then once I knew I was faster than him, I sort of knew I had the win. But it was kind of hard because I still had 3.5, 4K to go. And I was kind of just getting in my own head a bit, thinking, oh, I've won, but I still have to win.
Composed.
And then I'm coming into the finish chute, and then I see, I don't see it. Whoever in the crowd either saved me or didn't save me. They said, you've got a penalty. And I look at the board and I'm like, okay, I've got a penalty. I almost just got myself disqualified there.
Oh.
Okay, so I stop. Luckily, I've got enough time. I crossed the line. I've won. It's all good. It all works out at the end. Then I asked the race officials. I'm like, I don't mind. Like, I still won, but what was my penalty for? And they're like, we'll get back to you. And then about half an hour later, they're like, oh, I'm really sorry. We wrote the wrong number down on the board. It wasn't actually you that got a penalty. And I'm just like, I don't really care because it didn't affect my result.
Yeah, what could have happened?
but
It was just more the fact that we were the only English-speaking nations there. It was us and another Brit. The rest were all Hungarian, German, Austrian, Slavic. So if we all got podiums, especially me, if I didn't read it, I would have been fucked.
Well, I didn't even see the board. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't served it. Would I? Because obviously it's an instant.
You would have had to. Yeah, the only thing you can do is protest. But if you don't protest, then.
But like, I didn't not believe I had a penalty. I mean, I very much could have done all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I
was gonna say, like, was the punchline Van Aert comes out of the crowd or something and beats you at the finish line?
No.
It's Van Aert. Where did he come from?
That's it. Yeah.
No, it was all good. That was just a funny story. It was like a funny twist at the end, and then this is kind of similar. So that was a few weeks after Europeans qualifier, and then a few weeks after Worlds qualifier. I raced Malta, which pans out a bit differently. Again, first onto the bike. It's a bit of a hillier course, so I tried to get away, but nothing really sticks. It was a strong French field. There was about 8 or 9 guys.
A bunch of them, I think some of our boys have raced in Div 2, so it was a pretty strong French quartet that went and raced that one.
So we ended up having a big group on the bike. And then there was a hill every lap, so that sort of got whittled down to like 12 of us coming into T2. And I'd never won from a group that big before. Really, most of my wins had come from a breakaway of 2 or 3. So I thought I could be on for a podium, but I didn't really know. Got onto the run first, and then again, kind of like Tabor, first lap, I was running nervous, and then I realised, okay, I'm actually running the fastest here. So then just had to hold on. And I think that experience from Tabor helped. It was a 4-lap run, which mentally was quite hard. Again, after a lap, I was like, okay, I'm running the fastest, but I've still got
3 to go.
3.8k to run in the Mediterranean heat. But I managed to hold on there again for another European Cup win.
Killing it. So
there's like consistency and just like the confidence building and like the European Cup stuff that they got over there. It's such an elite format that they have, like just country v country. And I think I wish we had something similar like that where you could just go to a location, like whether it's Australia or New Zealand, and just have everyone come over and race, because you only get like 2 or 3 shots during the Aussie summer to race against everyone that's good in Oceania, whilst these guys have a full summer to just go wherever. And I know geographically, obviously it's easier for them, but it just shows why they're just so much better in a way.
Yeah. So Super Tri debut?
Yeah.
How did you get into that?
So it was my birthday. Just have to say that.
Just a birthday present.
So I was lined up on the start of the beer mile of the Athletic Brewing. It wasn't even a beer mile; it was non-alcoholic beer.
Non-alcoholic beer mile.
Yeah, so it was kind of a soft beer mile, and it wasn't even a mile; it was a relay. It was literally the length of transition and back. And it had been delayed a bit actually, because basically the course recce from the day before had got postponed to the day of the race due to weather. So the course recce happens, and then I'm on the start line for this. And then Tim Don comes up to me. I'll tell you what he says. He says, "Don't do this shit. I've got more important business for you." While I'm on the start, there's me and my 3 brothers, 2 brothers and a friend. We're all wearing Holmes tri suits. I've got the GB suit. We've got the Commonwealth suit. Looking like twats on the start of a beer mile. Wow.
That's not a beer mile. That's not beer.
It's not a beer mile. It's not beer. And there's a bunch of like middle-aged women racing us. And we've got caps and goggles on. We've got everything. And Tim comes up to me and tells me like, "Nah, you're not allowed. You can't be racing this." So
he obviously knew you.
Yeah. Well, I tried to. I'd spoken to him previously, but I just couldn't really find my way in. The whole Super Tri model sort of changed to, franchise teams. So they pushed for the best athletes rather than how it used to be, where Super Tri individual, they'd select you, so they'd be a bit more able to engage with local athletes and stuff. So I think I worked out it was an hour and 42. He told me to the race start. So I sort of had 5 minutes to just sort of work out what was going on while my brothers all raced the beer race.
Yeah.
And I went to a guy in the crowd, gave him my thing, and he joined the team, which was good. And our team did get the win. So, yeah. Then my brother drove me home. I live 2K from the course, if that.
Yeah.
Drove me home. I got my stuff ready. It kind of made me realize how easy it is to get ready for a triathlon. You know, normally you spend 3 hours packing, checking, packing.
Yeah.
I went home, I got my helmet, I got my cleats, I got my carbons, I got my bike, and I went to the race.
Yeah.
There was no nonsense. I didn't have time for that.
Writing down
I
lists
I hadn't even eaten properly. I hadn't even eaten a proper breakfast. I'd just been at the VIP section. I just snuck into the VIP section. Actually, I wasn't invited, to just steal the food from there, at the race hotel. So that was sort of my nutrition for the day. So I got home and I think I popped like 2 gels because I was like, yeah, I haven't actually had a meal today, and it's like 1 p.m.
Yeah.
So
That's your lunch.
got down to the race. I sort of started warming up straight away. It was all sort of going quite fast. I was bossing my brothers around like some sort of entitled yeah, exactly. Just 'cause I had so much going on. I was, getting tires changed. I was trying to get set up on a turbo.
Yeah.
All sorts. I didn't have a timing chip. I didn't have a race suit. I didn't know what was going on really. I was just trying to.
So how did they fit you out with a race suit? They just had general sizes.
They just gave they just had a blank Brownlee Racing suit that fit. I got a timing chip. Johnny talked me through the course. He was really helpful. He sort of, just gave me the reins. I live there and I trained there every week, so I did know the course, but obviously I hadn't ridden it. I hadn't swum the swim, which was the thing that actually was the hardest for me. Once we get into the race, I guess we can get into the race. So I started. It was me. I think Chase McQueen was on my right, and it was Johnny and Marcus on my left. And I get going, and I'm in third. There's Chase and Marcus, and then I'm sort of sitting in third. And then I get to the first buoy, and I turn left, and it turns out it's just a sighting buoy. And I'm just like, oh, what have I done? Because this is a marina. It's for like boats, so you never actually swim in it. And I sort of thought, you can't get the swim course wrong. It's literally out, around and back. So that sort of screws me a bit. Not too much. I still had a good swim. I came out 7th, I think. I'll tell you what happened. I come out just behind Chonga Lehman, and there's a big ramp up to transition. And I'm like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? Run past him, sprint past him. I mean, he might have won the race, but I mean, I can't remember the results. Who is he? Anyway, I run past him through T1. I make a few spots up. I'm onto the bike, sort of just on the edges of the chase pack. And then my legs sort of catch up to me. My lack of preparation sort of reaches me at that point.
Just would have been running on just pure adrenaline at that point.
Well, the swim I sort of got through from the adrenaline, and then the first bike. So I'd done a long bike and a run session the day before. Because obviously I was preparing for Malta the next week, so I was doing my final hard sessions into that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty. It was not disappointing, but you're always just like, oh, what if?
Yeah. In that field and everything.
So I fall back, basically dropped in not near last, one of the last spots on the first round. And then the second round, I actually sort of pick up the pace a bit. I think I just get into my rhythm. I know the bike course. I've warmed up a bit now. So my second round was actually better than my first, time-wise. I get in a race with some Stars and Stripes guy, and I managed to drop him, which was my race, which,
Probably Morgan Pearson.
Yeah. He was. He did an extra lap.
Would have been one of those project boys.
Yeah. The race was 4 laps on the bike, so it was really actually quite hard to keep track of. But I managed.
8's the number apparently people can't keep track of.
Yeah.
Fucking success.
And then, so I made it through swim, bike, run, swim, bike, run. So on the last, second last bike, on the second round through, Tim's like to me, "This is you done here. Like last bike, give it all you've got." Because he's obviously seen my first bike was a bit
Iffy.
slow. So
How you going?
yeah. But then on that second bike, I literally hold the pace of the leaders. I dropped 3 or 4 seconds in the whole bike. So it's not put me back into the race, but it's kept me in it for longer.
Yeah.
Which was my race at that point. I'd beaten one other guy. One guy had crashed, so I'm in 14th at this point. Johnny's crashed, so he's just up the road. So yeah, that was my race carried on after that. I made it onto the run, and then Tim is like, "Again, this is your race here. You're done after this. Just give it all."
Yeah.
And then again, I make it through the run, get my shoes off, sprint to the transition line, and it's a 90-second rule. And I cross on 129. So I'm like, I'm ecstatic, and the crowd was crazy the whole time. I mean, obviously they're my home crowd.
Yeah.
Everyone there
Knew him.
knew me.
Yeah, that'd have been cool.
So I sounded cocky there, but most people knew me, and everyone was cheering for me the most. I could hear it every time I went through. It was just crazy.
Yeah, that'd have been an awesome experience.
And then it was hard at that point because the racing is brutal. I mean, swimming after those runs is ridiculously hard. And at that point, I knew I was 1 second from being eliminated, and I just had to swim 400 brutal meters alone in a marina, just thinking like, this is really cool, and I need to keep trying, but also I'm going to be eliminated.
Yeah.
So I swim pretty hard, and then I just sprint through transition, even though I'm already eliminated, just to show that I was giving it my all. So that's where I make it. I don't get the final bike and final run, but I wasn't far off, and
pretty close for you for a hour and a half notice. It's
all in all, I was pretty pleased with it. And it was a cool experience. I met Tim was really nice. My team manager, Tim Don, he was super helpful, and Johnny as well. All super nice, and just helped me race with that little notice. And I guess Tim gave me the opportunity. He didn't have to. He could have just been like, it's an hour and a half till we race. Let's just leave it.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
No, those are awesome stories, mate. You've had, like, for your age compared to some Aussies, like, just you can just hear from that, like, being offered those opportunities and everything, how
elite it is.
Just how many options there are, and the people you're around and all that's just kind of endless, really. I know we've been talking for a while, but what's sort of next for you? Like, you've obviously been in Australia for a while, you've been training, you had a race on the way over here. What's sort of next for you, mate?
Yeah, so I raced in Asia on the way over here, just because it kind of worked. It was the sort of time I was coming over. It was either Worlds, which I didn't make, or I was like, I'll do this race.
He was gonna come here regardless. Like, we had made a plan up to Tabor. Like, mate, got to see each other. Just come and have a few weeks training in Tassie.
So that Asia Cup didn't go my way. That was the first race I've ever actually had a mechanical. It was just unlucky. It was the typical Asian course. Open roads, speed bumps everywhere.
Asians going down left, right.
Yeah. Some guy, front flips, smashed his face in. I just miss him, but his bike comes and hits mine. We're going over a speed bump, my chain just drops. Honestly, I wasn't even too mad. I was inches from being like decapitated. So I was just happy that my chain was off and I was alive. Cycled by myself on an open motorway for 18k, and then honestly, coming into transit, there was a hill up to transition, and because it's an Asian race, it's not that much depth, so there was the first 2 packs merged, and then after that it was nothing. It was like 3 minutes back, and before I couldn't see anyone, so I'm just lonely cycling by myself, and I'm just like just struggling in the heat, really. And I'm just like, I should just like stop. I mean, obviously I wasn't actually, but these are the thoughts you have when you're just by yourself. But I managed to to focus back, and I ran a really good run actually. It was 16. Was it under? It might have been under 16. It was right on 16 minutes for
Yep.
5K, which was
In the
really
heat.
good. I thought like I could sort of tell where the leaders were each lap, and I was just sort of trying not to felt like I was racing them, the
Yep.
top, rather than I ran through to 17th. I probably ran through 15 guys, so the result on paper wasn't anything. But I didn't even mention that I was first onto the bike.
Yeah.
I was in a really good spot.
Yeah.
And these things happen, and
To claw it back.
for it to happen in an Asia Cup race, for me, it's like, it's not the most important race in the world.
No.
And it was all part of a bigger trip. Yeah,
Yeah.
coming over here to sort of start my winter training.
Yeah.
So I'm here for 3 weeks just to sort of get some winter training going.
Yeah.
I'll be back in the UK sort of for Christmas, and then January as well. Doing a few races over there, some cross countries. Got a 10K lined up. And then I'm hoping to get over to Africa. To do
Oh, yeah,
some
because there's a
training.
ton of races down there. Hey,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
next year.
do some training and possibly a few Africa Cups.
Yeah.
Early next year, and then the European calendar isn't really out, but yeah, hopefully can get on a European Cups.
French Grand Prix stuff, I reckon.
Yeah, I've got a D2 team for that. So
Yeah, tell them the team.
What's your team?
Brive Limousin.
Ah, Brive. Yeah.
So I raced for them.
They just got upgraded, didn't they?
They just got promoted. So they gave me a start. Well, it was kind of a last minute thing. Someone who won't be named.
Oh, is it?
No.
Oh.
This is how I got my start. Someone was, going at it, and they did their back in. So then I got my start from that because they'd done their back in doing that. This was in 2023, and I haven't actually had a chance to race for them since. But because I got that opportunity, I've sort of kept in contact, and I sort of thought I want to do a season with them because they gave me that chance back then. I was only 15, 16, racing for them in D3. And now they're up to D2. There's a better calendar.
Yeah.
And I can race for them.
Cool. You might even win the bloody thing.
Yeah, well, there's some pretty strong fields in D2.
I mean, it's pretty good.
You'll have to come up against the King of Rance and Louis P and all the gang.
Yeah, well, because I could have, with my results, with winning 2 European Cups, I probably could have scraped my way onto a D1 team.
We had this conversation in the
we had this conversation before
today, actually, when we got out of the water. We were just talking about it, actually,
because he sort of thought it was stupid if you can get on a D1 team, but it's like if I've got a World Series start right now, if you're skipping European Cups, if you're skipping World Cups, going straight to that level just seems a bit silly. I'm not I just want to race a season of D2 and get a feeling for it, because I'm not just going to win by miles. I'm probably not going to win at all.
And like even probably going up a bit track here, but I've been speaking to a few D3 teams recently. It's interesting the prize money. There's probably more prize money in some of those D3 teams than there are in D2 teams.
I think it's just they treat you a lot better.
Because at the end of the day, they all want the same. They just want to be promoted. That's all they care about, is winning, and they will do it at any cost.
So if you're someone like me going into a D1 team, like, yeah, you might be able to get a start, but are they going to actually treat you well?
Yeah.
You're
like the bottom of the...
If they get someone better. Whereas my D2 team, I know the guys. I know I'm one of the better athletes. I don't know who they've got, what other internationals, but I know I can get a start when I want. The guys, and I know them, they're nice. I know I know what they'll pay for.
Yeah.
And I know D2 is really strong. Like,
it's decent.
Dan Van Aert ran 14:35, I think, for only third in the final, I think.
Yeah, Jack Stanton's stock was like third in one of them.
Yeah,
at the OC1, and that was when I ran the fastest I had off the bike as well.
Yeah, so these are like top British guys that are racing D2, and they're near the front, which is good. But they're not winning, and it's not like it's easy for them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think if I can do a season of that, and if I can get near the podium, I might have a chance of going to D1. But
yeah, yeah.
I've got no problems with.
Even if you don't, it's still just such good racing anyway.
It is good racing. It's kind of just putting your ego aside. You know, the number 2. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not as
and
nice as one, but
and your stripes.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds good, mate. It sounds like you got more than enough to keep you busy, and I'm sure you'll keep tracking upwards. And it sounds like you've really only had like 1 year where you've kind of had a clean run at it. So